Hi, Steve and Caleb from Brownells here, bringing you another edition of Smyth Busters. And today, Caleb, we got a good one. Tell them what it is.
Today we are going to cover the myth that it is not safe to carry around in the chamber. Now, this one, this is the one that's going to get people's, I don't know, web gear in a bunch. I don't know.
Apples up.
I was gonna say panties, but do people still wear web gear? Is that
Web
still
gear.
a thing?
Speaking of web gear, in the military, if you're pulling guard duty on, in peacetime, you don't have one in the chamber. At least not in basic training. They don't allow you to put one in the chamber. You get your 3 bullets or your 3 cartridges in your magazine. You say don't. They say don't put it in there.
Okay, so I understand that, and I've worked around a lot of other privates when I was in the military.
Well, you were an armorer, so you know.
Yeah. So I understand that, but so we're going to look at this from more of a mechanical perspective rather than an individual person perspective.
Because it's personal preference.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, where do you want to start?
Well, let's start with your modern day. I'll say higher end semi-auto.
Okay.
It's like this is the SIG 226 Legion series. Mechanically, there is absolutely no reason you cannot carry around in the chamber. Matter of fact, I do. Every time I carry this gun, this is my personal carry gun, I carry around in the chamber, loaded.
And that's a double action, single action design.
Correct. Yep, so I carry it with the hammer down, so my first shot is going to be double action, and I carry it with the round in the chamber.
Speaking of which, this old relic here from 1944, this P38, you can carry one in the chamber with the hammer down. It's got a decocker here. You're ready to go. You can carry it all day long like that, not have to worry your hammer's down. It's going to stay down. But things have been refined a little bit since then. Going back to 1911, we've got John Browning's design, which a lot of people carry. Let me make sure this is empty. Cocked and locked. And this is going to be a personal thing here. It's perfectly safe as long as that safety stays on. If you got it in a holster, I suggest you have a strap over the back of the slide so the hammer can never make contact until you release that strap. It's got the grip safety going for it, along with the thumb safety. So as long as you're carrying this in a decent holster with that safety strap on it, no problem. And if you have the training and you're familiar with the design, because people still do have accidental discharges with these things, as they manage to do it with any gun.
Yeah, and again, not a mechanical fault in the actual firearm itself. It's a training fault with the actual individual. So.
Right. Now, most people have no qualms with a double action revolver. Loading all 6 in there, carrying it all day. Right. Hammers down, takes a long pull to get that thing started. That's really a very safe design for someone who's not all that gun savvy. This single action, this is an old model Ruger, so it does not have the improved safety transfer bar system. So when this hammers forward, the firing pin is forward against a primer if you've got one in that top cylinder, that top chamber. So this is one where you load 5, even though you have 6 chambers, and you have an empty one under the hammer, just like the old Colt single action and any of those other copies. If they don't have a transfer bar system, they should have an empty chamber under the hammer.
Yeah, so, and real quick, while we got it out, let's just do a really quick run through of how they actually used to load these, Steve, back in the day.
Easy peasy. What you do, put it on half cock, load 1, skip 1, load the other 4, close the gate, cock it, and that puts an empty chamber right under your hammer.
So then you can just throw it in the holster, and then next time you cock it, you're ready to go.
And that's the way it was carried way back when people wore cowboy hats a lot.
Yeah, fun, cool fact there.
What about the Glock?
The Glock? So the Glock falls into that modern handgun category there. And not saying every modern handgun by every manufacturer is indeed safe. There are some sketchier manufacturers out there, but as long as you're sticking with your better major brands, such as Glock, you're definitely good to go. This is one of those brands that I would certainly carry and have carried with a round in the chamber for personal protection and everyday carry.
Me too, and I do carry a Glock, and there's a reason for that. That striker is only partially cocked. It does not have enough energy stored in it to set off a round. So that trigger has to be pulled, and that's where all the accidental discharges come from, catching on a holster or a piece of shirt or something, or a pen sticking out of your pocket. That's how those accidents happen.
Yeah, because on the Glock, as you pull the trigger, it finishes cocking that striker. So as the striker sits right now, if it were to just fall forward for whatever reason, let's say even if that striker safety was out the way, if it were to fall forward, it doesn't have enough energy to set off that primer. So there are some redundant safeties in this design. So
Right.
it's a really safe handgun to carry with a round in the chamber. That's how it was designed to be carried.
Yep, and perfect gun for for someone that doesn't want to take a lot of classes and doesn't want to go through a lot of training and need to know a lot about the gun. This is something you can load once, pick up, pull the trigger, and it's ready to go.
Right, absolutely. Not saying you shouldn't get all the training you can.
Right.
We definitely recommend get all the training you certainly can.
But we know people being people.
People are definitely people. You know as well as we do, people being people.
In a way, a Glock is like a magazine-fed revolver, a double-action revolver. It's kind of like that.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I once had a customer that said he couldn't shoot a Glock well, but I knew he had a collection of various types of guns, and I said, next time you take it out, pretend it's a Smith & Wesson revolver, and you're shooting at double action. And he did better doing that. It was the mindset. He was trying to make that thing go off like a 1911 with a nice crisp 3.5-pound trigger, and it just wasn't happening.
Yeah, interesting.
So you live and you learn.
So I don't want to necessarily say this Smyth is busted because there are some sketchier manufacturers out there, even still making handguns today. But as long as you're buying a firearm from a reputable manufacturer, especially with like your semi-autos and your revolvers, I say that it is indeed safe to carry that firearm with the round in the chamber. So any of the manufacturers that we carry here at Brownells, sure, go for it. Absolutely. Like all your Glocks, your SIGs, your Smith & Wessons, well, all of those manufacturers, you're good to go. So I'm going to say plausible, but not busted.
Okay. Leave us a comment and let us know how you carry your firearm. Do you carry one in the chamber? Do you leave one out? What kind of a firearm do you have? Is it one of these? Is it something completely different? You got a Derringer, for example? We want to hear from you. Also hit that like button and that subscribe button if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time with another edition of Smythbusters.